I think there's more to know. Should we go through the chart?
The general is like, basically every tooth in our mouth are connected to a category in our bodies. There's actually a really good documentary for your audience to watch. Even you, I would recommend it. It's called Root, ROOT, root cause. And if you Google that, some places will be up to $3, $4, $5 to watch it, which would be money well spent. But I believe Plex, PLEX, has it for free. I watched it for free, and it's an amazing movie.
So I'm going to show this real quick. I'm going to switch.
So that is a documentary about the teeth, about root canals. I mean, that's the basic thing about it, is root canals and how bad they are. But it also covers, basically how important our mouth is and our mouth biome and how we're interconnected to everything. And that comes into play with the chart that we're talking about. So every tooth has a function. And when we don't take care of our teeth and we have a lot of bacteria and growth, that's affecting, areas in our body, which is what the chart is. So, you watch that movie and they'll kind of get into that in a lot more detail. So it's just a great watch. But they did a recent study, and it's covered in that video as well. They took 1,000 women with breast cancer, and 90% of them, and that's a really big number, 90% of 1,000 is 900 women, had either a root canal or a cavitation or an infection in the second or the third molar, which is, if you get in the chart, the second or the third molar on either side are connected to the breast. So they found that 90% of those women either had a root canal or a cavitation in the second or the third molar. And
what tooth number is that? I'm sorry. Is that 14?
That's number 2 and number 3. Number 2 and number 3, both sides.
Oh, 2 and 3 and 14, 15. So it's left breast, right breast.
Yeah. And to further kind of, get those statistics up there, whatever side the cavitation or the root canal was on was the side of the breast that they had the cancer.
Right. I'm getting that.
That's how bad this stuff is. So when we talk about it, it's pretty serious. Root canals are awful for us. But not only that, mouth health is super important and can cause, chronic disorder and disease elsewhere in our body. And it doesn't matter what you do or what medication that you're taking to help that, chemotherapy for your breast or whatever, or a mastectomy. Guess what? That doesn't solve the problem in your mouth. You're still having the leakage. So you're not even correcting the problem. So, there's a really big disconnect between dental and medical, and there really shouldn't be that. Dental and medical are kind of intertwined, and they used to be. I talked about that a little bit earlier. You go way back. The apple a day kept the doctor away. That was the dentist. The dentist actually healed our bodies as well because we're interconnected. Definitely. I was just going to say the best dentists that you can go to are biological dentists. Those are part of the IAOMT dentists. Those are holistic and biological. They go in order. Holistic is really good. Biologicals are the best. Biologicals treat your entire body. So they treat everything with your, in your mouth because, again, they're believers in this. We're interconnected. They don't ever use fluoride, by the way. That's a huge no-no. And they don't use amalgam fillings, the silver fillings, which aren't really silver, by the way. They're lead and mercury. A lot of people think they're silver, but they're not. But so they don't use those either. So, and they don't do root canals. So they're big believers in not doing root canals. And they do there's other things that we can do for a dead tooth, such as biological dentists, since we mentioned it, are doing a lot with what they call ozone irrigation. So ozone's another.
Well, you must have been reading my mind because that's what I have up on the screen here. But I have an issue, I think, with the ozonated water because I don't think it takes out the crap. It doesn't take out all the crap. Well, what is ozonated water? Because I think it says it kills all forms of bacteria, viruses, and pathogens. But see, I think it's leaving in like glyphosate and it's leaving in fluoride.
Oh, no. Ozone is essentially a component of reverse osmosis. So reverse osmosis does remove fluoride. Now, I'm not going to say that, we sell units that, the ozone generators that, and I'm not going to sit here and say that they are ozone, that they remove the fluoride, but they are to a certain extent because it's reverse osmosis. Now, it's not a reverse osmosis water system, so it's not completely taking that out. But I guess it's kind of one of those things that, I tell everybody the better the water you put in these, the better the outcome. But it's definitely better than using your sink, which is what most people are using. So if you don't have a whole house RO and you can't afford that or don't have the ability to do that, unfortunately, you're left using the sink water. This is a great alternative because it does remove, I'd say, probably the majority of fluoride. But the big thing is it's destroying the bacteria, the germs, the viruses in your mouth, and it works as a really good rinsing agent. Now, dentists are doing ozone irrigation where they are using using a non-fluoride water to begin with, and then they're ozonating it, and then they're ozonating, irrigating the tooth that would need the root canal. And what they found is that ozone reverses tooth decay. So it's not stops it, but like reverses it, especially with the use of silver, because silver has regenerative properties. So ozone and silver working together actually help rebuild the tooth. They, in a lot of cases, I'm not going to say they can do it all the time, they can save the tooth and not have to do a root canal. They can actually help save it. We already have the silver in our toothpaste, so the ozone is kind of the next step. So we use ozone as a, if you opted to get that option, the ozone would then replace your water. So you would about a half inch of water in a cup and then add the silver in and you rinse with that. Does an amazing job cleaning, penetration. If you have mouth problems, it can help cure a lot of them. And then again, you can swallow it.
And here it says, and like, guys, not everything you find on the internet is true, but
Right.
I want to. So it says water purified by ozone is highly oxygenated, free of protozoa, fungi, germs, and bacteria, so it's safe to drink. Ozone water treatment will not remove total dissolved solids such as nitrates, sodium chlorides, or fluoride. And it doesn't. So that's what I'm saying. It's not getting rid of the fluoride.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. It will remove a good portion of it, not all of it. Because it's not, that's what it's designed. That's not what that's doing.
Well, it's my dentist, okay, and I know that they were using, good toothpaste and whatever there when they cleaned my teeth. But when I felt like the water was toxic and they said they were ozonating the water. And I'm like, okay, I really don't understand ozonated water. But I went to the ozonated, I feel like there was fluoride in that water. I'm like, it's not getting that out. And being that I'm the canary in the coal mine and I feel every little last thing, I'm like, that feels like a toxin to me.
Right. And it should, a good, not saying he's not good. A good biological dentist is going to be using some sort of RO system to filter out the fluoride to get it out and then ozonating the water. A lot of us don't think every day and how many times you come in contact with it. Even if you try, like you got the reverse osmosis in your house, you got a whole house system and, you're doing all these great things to help yourself. Well, guess what? We don't live in our houses all the time. You're out, you're traveling, you need water. People buy bottled water. Guess what? Bottled water's got fluoride. So, or we're drinking
all sorts of crap. It's got glyphosate.
Yeah, exactly. So, or we're drinking tea, or we're drinking pop. Both of those have fluoride in them, by the way. So everywhere you go, you're getting bombarded with it. So even if we're really trying, you're still getting it, unless you're just a fanatic, and that's tougher to do. Carrying your own water with you and then making it and carrying it. Which
I do. I do. I sold my last unit to Shaman Michael.
That's actually great that you do that, especially I do a lot of shows traveling around. That's where we met at one of the shows. And I commend you because that's something I've never even thought of. It's like here. And again, I'm out of my house a lot. I'm traveling. I know I intake fluoride and I'm hugely against it, but that's a simple solution. Dr. Burke, you could look him up. Dr. Burke he found that there was a correlation between fluoridation and a rise in cancer. And it was 1,000%. So everywhere that fluoride was introduced, because they introduced it back in late 40s. Everywhere it was introduced, cancer rates rose by about 1,000%. That's huge. Fluoride causes cancer. There's no question about it.
We have to be a stand for ourselves and not be complacent and not say, it takes too much. Because you're going to be kicking yourself when you can't move at all, right?
Yeah. But they're also finding out, they just finished up some studies in 2019 and 2020, very recent, that fluoride also, it absorbs and it stores in our bone and it causes bone fluorosis. What is bone fluorosis? Oh, well, that's osteopenia, that's osteoarthritis, it's joint pain. All that joint pain and everything that we get nowadays is from fluoride. You go back to your grandfathers, grandmothers, fathers, you go back a few generations and hell, these people, they're 80 years old working in fields, with digging up stuff, huge gardens, and they're out there at, 80 years old. 50-year-olds can't do it nowadays. Everything aches and pains and stuff like that. These guys were healthier than oxes, and that's because they didn't have the fluoride. The fluoride is actually causing a lot of our problems.